Hey, let's get to a team meeting. This is the most urgent team meeting of the season.
I'm on time,
y'all.
We're here.
Shady is here. The Ravens were there, and so were Joe Burrow's Bengals. 5 touchdown passes from Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson had 4 touchdown passes himself. You all saw one of the most epic plays you will ever see was the one just on your screen. If you're not looking at your TV, I promise you need to turn around and walk back right now. Shady, the Ravens, 41-38. It was a thriller. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, 2 teams that have played in the AFC Championship game in the last 2 and 3 years. An epic game of epic performances. But Shady, what did the Ravens prove in their win?
They prove that they're on a mission, right? Offensively. Yeah. When you talk about the Ravens from back then to now, or last year. Back then to last year, it's always defense, defense, defense. Well, fellas, that's changed.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson is a big reason why. If you watch that game, defense couldn't stop nobody. A soul couldn't stop, hit nobody, stop nobody, get a pick, get a sack, none of that. But Lamar Jackson said, I don't care what it is. Joe Burrow is balling, I'm going to ball even harder. And that's all he did all game. And then you add Derrick Henry. And by the way, respect Derrick Henry. Welcome to the 10,000 club. 10,000-yard club. I'm in there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's impressive.
We welcome you with open arms.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Happy for you to be here. Hey, look, it's not a lot of us, though. It's not a lot of us, Derek, so welcome. But nah, watching this Ravens team, like, they on a mission, though. It goes back to even when I forget who they beat. I think it was Buffalo, and Marlon Humphreys had a big thing where he was trying to interview Lamar, like, yo, we won. He said, yo, my man, we 2-2. It's nothing to be proud of. We got a big game next week against a divisional rival in the Bengals. And they went down there and took care of business. So Lamar Jackson's on a mission. You can see it.
Oh, hold on. Pause. It's only 32 people in the 10,000 club, bruh.
32? Thank you, bro. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
I don't take for granted we got one sitting up here.
In the history of the game.
History of the game of football. 32 players have rushed for 10,000 or more yards. So obviously, Shady, what you did in your career, phenomenal. Derrick Henry, what he is doing over the course of his career, phenomenal. 32 people. 32 ever. And Derrick Henry.
If you were still playing, dog, I'd probably be saying you weak. But you're done now, so we got to give you your flowers. We're going to give you your flowers now.
I'm his son, right? That's crazy.
Hey, James, you kicked this one off then after Shady Ben. What did the Ravens prove in their win, big dog?
They proved that they're a legit football team and a legit contender, right? Last week, you played the Buffalo Bills and you all over the field. At home, though. Right? Showed that defense can play well, shut a good team down, a good quarterback down, defense play well, but Lamar still put up 30-plus points, offense play well, Derrick Henry run the ball. Then you go on the road, and you have to put up 40-plus points because your defense ain't stopping nobody. They throwing quick screens for touchdowns. They throwing go balls for touchdowns. Joe Burrow playing a really good game. Defense giving up a bunch of points. You go to overtime on the road, and offensively, you deliver. And to be honest with you, I'm sure the Ravens is walking off this field and Lamar Jackson saying, man, if we don't turn the ball over the way we turn the ball over, we win this game even easier than we won this one. This is a sign of a legit contender and a legit football team. We was talking about the Baltimore Ravens looking at an 0-2 deficit saying, man, they could blow this building up.
Yeah.
Now we sit here and the way they playing, the way they running the ball, the way Lamar throwing the ball, that this is a legit contender in the NFL to go win this whole thing. That's what I seen. These last 2 weeks let me know that Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, like Shady said, on a mission.
Yeah, the Ravens proved to me that they are a top contender in the AFC. I don't care about the first game. They didn't know their identity versus the Chiefs, right? That's who everyone's going toward the AFC. They didn't know their identity. Now they know their identity. They're running the football, but, you know, we call Josh Allen Superman. Lamar Jackson can be Superman when Superman is needed. And they proved that they can win shootouts. I'm not sure before this game that they could have won a shootout with Lamar Jackson at quarterback because their identity is run the ball with King Henry, run the ball with Lamar. Lamar beat this team down with his arm. And they just played really well in all 3 phases when they needed it. That defense picked off Joe Burrow when they needed an interception, right? Like you give up 5 touchdowns, you give up 395 passing, make a play when you need to play. Justin Tucker, field goal to send it to overtime, field goal to win it. Okay? And then you have Lamar and King Henry on the 51-yard run to ice the game. He thought he was going to get in. A little slow right there. But it was just cool because it's not only that you won a division game on the road, but it's how you won. And you won in a shootout fashion. That shows, improves to you, improves to the world. You can really play with everyone and anyone if you get that defense right.
I got a lot to say. I don't know how to say it, though.
It's going to be good, though.
Yeah, all positive.
Come off
No, all positive. this win was so substantial for the Ravens because last year the Ravens were knocking on the door of a Super Bowl, but they didn't kick the door down. Why? Because even then they didn't know their identity.
Yeah.
Now they fully know their identity. What do I mean? If y'all remember last year's championship game, the Ravens only ran the ball with their running backs, I believe, 7 or 9 times. They were discouraged from running the ball because the Chiefs discouraged them. Yesterday, the Ravens had every reason to stop running the ball.
That is true.
14 carries, 41 yards for Derrick Henry. Every reason to stop running the ball. Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdown passes, over 300 yards passing. Every reason to stop running the ball. But in the most important moments of the most important game of their season, even though they only had 41 with Derrick Henry, they said, you know what? We're going to run it again. And on the 15th carry, it went for 55 yards, and the game was over.
That's how it works.
So when I watched that game, I said, finally, they have figured it out. They know their identity. I think it's my friend who says, knowing who you are is power, knowing why is freedom. And now y'all free to say, you know what? Even though, Lamar, you ball in Derrick Henry, we still going to you because we know who we are.
Yeah.
And we know why we do what we do. Eventually, if we keep just dripping an ounce of water onto that little pipe, if you will, it will break. Yeah. It will break. And they just kept going with Derrick and kept going with Derrick and kept going with Derrick. And eventually the floodgates broke open. Game was over. That was a different Ravens win than we've seen.
I mean, if we look at the numbers right now, right? So the number 1 in total offense, the number 1 in rushing offense, the number 3 in scoring offense, the number 3 on third downs.
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing.
huge.
And then they got 17 scrimmage touchdowns. That's tied for the most in the NFL. So that's letting you know we need to stop the narrative of, oh, Lamar's only being a runner.
Yeah.
That's dead too, right? I know he's a dual threat quarterback, but he's doing a lot of throwing. It's like he's doing running. And I think when we watch Lamar, like stand up to Joe Burrow, I like to see that in the fashion he did. Because if Lamar just went out there and ran for 100+ yards, Derrick ran for the yards, and they win the game, right? It'd be the same narrative.
Yeah.
But now, okay, you throwing Joe? Bet, cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm throwing, right? And he spread the ball around to everybody. So if you watched Lamar last night. Even though Joe did play well, Lamar was the best player on the field for sure.
My question is, there's two ways of viewing, like, what did the Ravens prove in the win, right? We're talking about their offense, but Acho, like, specifically to you, can the Ravens sustain this with their defense playing the way they're playing? Because they are last in the NFL in pass yards given up per game. And we agreed wholeheartedly on this desk that they won a very good game, big game. The Bengals are 1-4. So does this going to look like in 3 or 4 weeks? Is this going to look like this win that we're all talking about is now?
Before, you about to show some tape?
No tape.
Okay.
No tape.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Because I'm glad you brought this up because as you were talking, I was going to ask the same question of y'all. So we're very synchronized here. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. That's it.
Yeah.
I said before the season that this Ravens team would be very similar to the Eagles team last year. Remember, the Eagles team 2 years ago went to the Super Bowl. Last year, they were a really good team, but they fell all the way off because their defense fell all the way off. Last year, the Ravens almost went to the Super Bowl, but the Ravens lost their defensive coordinator. Eagles, after the Super Bowl, lost their defensive coordinator. Ravens lost a bunch of great defensive players. Geno Stone, Patrick Queen. The Eagles, after they went to the Super Bowl, lost a bunch of great defensive players. Hassan Reddick is now gone, but you had lost Epps, you had lost T.J. Edwards, you had lost linebackers, etc. I said they'd be the same. The difference, the Ravens have Lamar Jackson. And right now, Lamar Jackson is covering up woes. The Ravens should have lost that game yesterday.
Yeah.
They should have.
100%.
Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdown passes, people. 370 yards. It was ridiculous. If not for Lamar Jackson, the Ravens lose that game. So where I'm at, Chase, is I think, and I was thinking about this as you were asking, and I didn't even know the question you were going to ask. So great job there is, Lamar Jackson should be able to keep this team afloat until they figure it out. Remember, their defensive coordinator got drafted after me.
Yeah.
Their defensive coordinator got drafted in 2013. Backer, it was a 2013 draft class. So he got to be 32 or 33 years old.
I knew who that was.
Yeah, that's that.
He's young.
So you like some of my 10,000 on him?
A lot of them probably is.
Like, think about it, y'all. Like, he's a rookie defensive coordinator. Dude is probably 33 years old. He's a former Ravens player. He's figuring it out.
Yeah.
This is not Wink Martindale at DC. This is not Rex or Rob Ryan at DC. This is a young bull trying to figure it out. So Lamar Jackson is giving this defense time to figure it out. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. I think
I'm going to talk to it from an offensive perspective because I was on some legit offenses that them numbers that Shady just said, that was us.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Number 1, number 2, number 3 in a lot of categories. And we had the Clay Matthews and the Charles Woodsons and all that. Them defenses numbers weren't like that, but the only one we cared about, get us the ball back.
turnovers.
Get us a takeaway. So they're not going to give up 38 points a game, right? They're not. They just gave up 10 points to the Buffalo Bills, so they're not giving up 38. But we are going to score. We are going to be really good on third down because we got Lamar Jackson. We just need you guys every game to give us 1 or 2 extra possessions. We don't need, at the end of the game,